Hello everyone, my name is Choma Moma. This is your first time joining me. I love to share information and content to help working mothers and fathers get the best out of parenting so they can live their lives, fulfill their purpose, and raise wholesome children at the same time. There's one thing that really trends for a lot of working parents, and that's how to hire the best help that they can. The truth is that it's not easy finding help. Even in our climb, that's in Nigeria, where you can get help, there are always issues, there are always incidences. So these are my 15 top tips on how you can get the best in your domestic assistants and in hiring them as well. First of all, I always tell people that referrals rock. I prefer to get a referral through somebody than to just go through anyone or through an agent. I'm not saying I've not gotten some good people from agents. Yes, I have. But there's nothing like a personal referral. The person who is known to you will know what you like, know what you prefer, and you'll also be able to be accountable considering that person. So when you have someone that can refer someone to you, it's much better. Remember, bringing a stranger into your home is not easy. So it's great to bring someone who knows that person and who can help you with that person, tell them what you want, tell them what you need, and also knows your preferences as well. If it's someone that you know works hard, someone who you know is trustworthy, odds are that the person that they will introduce to you will also have the same values as well. Sometimes it could be a former employee who has done really well for you. If they know what you want, know what you like, and what you need in your home, they might help you get someone who will just be as good, if not better. So when you can, look for a referral. If possible, get a reference from their pastor or from their last employer. One thing I always do is to try and know their family. So when I get someone, I'll tell them to bring a family member over, or their pastor, or someone that they've worked with. It's always important to have their track record. If they've worked before in someone's home, try and speak to the person to know how well they did. Another important thing you must do is to make sure you interview properly. It's not enough to just make a hiring decision of your domestic assistant off their appearance or over the phone, or just by, somebody brought her from the village. Try and see your prospective nanny. Ask her a few open-ended questions, a few direct questions, and get to know if she's going to do the job that you actually want to hire her for. If you're not good at interviewing people, maybe you should ask someone who has more experience with domestic help, your mom, your aunt, a friend, a neighbor, to help you interview the person. Also ask questions about the particular role you want them to fit. Look at their body language. See if they can actually do what you're requiring of them. If it's someone like a chef, for instance, who's going to cook food, you might want to do a practical where they will actually cook some meals for you. If it's about your children, maybe try having your children around when you're interviewing the person to see if they actually have any experience with children and know how to deal with children. If they have, if they are amenable to children. Some people are not really good with children, naturally. So you need to take your time to interview. At times, when we're desperate, we just say, hire the next person that comes along. You should never rush to hire a domestic help. Take time to interview the person and see if you and the person align together. See if you have the same kind of values, if there's someone that you can actually train, and if you will want to live in your home. It is very, very, very important. Other thing that you need to know, even before you even do the interview, is to know the role. What do you want the person to do in your house? Do you want the person to help with the children? Do you want the person to help with the food? Do you want the person to just help with cleaning? The person is not there to take all your duties away. The person is not there to just take everything. The person is there to assist you, not to take over. So make sure you know what you are hiring the person for. Surely it's not to do everything in your home. And whatever it is, make sure the person is clearly told what is expected of her. This brings me to my next tip. Let them know their roles. After you've hired this person, take time to tell them what to do, how to do it. Do not assume that they know. Sometimes we just think, okay, you know what to do. You know how to take care of it. Okay, do this. No, give them, if they're educated, you can even take time to even write it down. The way you would do in a restaurant, step by step. This is how to make a burger. Put this first, put that first. You might have to go that way, okay? Take time to tell them what is expected. I've had someone before who didn't know how to use an electric kettle. She ended up putting the electric kettle on the stove, and that was how it was ruined. I assumed she knew how to use it. Take time to ask them what they know, and from their own level of education or their level of exposure, make sure you train them. Do not make any assumptions when you're hiring people, and tell them what you expect of them. Even for you that works in an office, no matter how well trained you are, when you come to a new office, you go through an induction process. In the same way, you must take your staff through an induction process, a training process, so that they know what you want and what is expected of them while they are in your home, how you speak, your values, and more. You must also remember that in a relationship involving domestic help or domestic assistance, it's a give and take relationship. It's a two-way street. Yes, you're paying them, but it's not just about that. You need to treat them with decency. You need to treat people well. Yes, you might say, oh, I've treated them well, and they don't stay, they are horrible, they do X, Y, Z. Sometimes that happens, but the truth is that if you get a good person, someone who is well behaved, who is reasonable, who has a good heart, and who knows what they're doing, and you treat them well, you will get the best out of them. You cannot treat your fellow human being badly and expect her to give her best in your home. It just doesn't work that way. Also, you must realize that no one is perfect. Yes, not even you, the boss. So yes, she might be good with cleaning, but she's very slow when it comes to some other things. Or she may be good with children, but then she's not the best cleaner, or she's very disorganized. Look at her strengths. What are those things that are most important to you when you were hiring her? If she's doing those things well, then maybe she can build up on the other skills later, or maybe you can ignore those ones. What is the thing that is the priority to you? Does she do it well? I've had someone who was fantastic with my children. She wasn't the tidiest person, but she was amazing with my children, and she was amazing with other chores that she did. So I had a lovely relationship with her. She lived in my house for many years. Also, it's important that you match people to their skill set. Sometimes you hire someone to clean, but actually what they're good at is looking after children. Or you hire someone to look after your child, but what they're good at is cooking and cleaning. I had a time when I had two girls who I hired. I had one to help me with my baby. I had the other one to clean. But as I got them, I noticed within a few days that the other one was more drawn to the baby. So I immediately told her to stop with the housework and focus on helping me with the baby, while the other one, who was quite hardworking, focused on doing the housework in the house. Make sure they're doing what they're good at so you don't get frustrated. It's very important. Match them to their skill sets. Also, you must realize that with staff that stay in your home, domestic assistants, nannies, whatever you want to call them, it is not a regular job. Personally, I try to make them part of the family. I try to ensure that they have a feeling of, that they have something at stake. I give them a sense of belonging when they come into my home. I don't threaten them and say, oh, I'll drive you away. If you want them in your home, then make them feel that you want them in your home. Don't make them feel that you can't do without them or whatever, but make them feel welcome. It's very important. It's not just any kind of job. They are in your home. Another thing that you need to know is that it's not by force. Sometimes we want to keep somebody in our house when the person does not want to stay. What is the point? I've heard of people saying, that they pay the domestic staff late so that they don't leave. If someone wants to leave, then let them go. That means they're not a good fit for your home. The truth is that you need to have someone who is a willing employee. If he or she doesn't want to stay, then please let them go. Okay? It's not by force. Pray. This prayer is very important. You need to pray about who you bring into your home. I've always said this, and I'll say it again. It's not like any regular job. This person is living under your roof. Even with other jobs where the person doesn't live with you, you need to pray. Talk less of this employee who is going to be part of the fabric of your home. Please pray. Pray about the person you hire in your home. Pray with them. Pray for them. Make sure that they know that you are a praying woman, and make sure that God is hearing you and answering you, because He will give you a lot of guides concerning these people. He will tell you who to hire. He will lead you and direct you concerning your domestic help and anybody you employ whatsoever. So please pray about your help. Pray for them. Pray before you employ them, and pray with them as well. It is so important. Connected to this is your intuition. If you have a funny feeling about someone, then you don't have to hire them. I remember when I was so desperate to get somebody. I was pregnant with my third child. I needed someone desperately. I was up to here with housework. I was going to the office. It was crazy. Someone brought me this young lady. I interviewed her. I knew what I wanted, and she didn't fit the bill. So I remember telling my mother-in-law that I'm sorry, but I don't want to take this girl. And she was shocked. She was like, Choma, you're desperate. You need somebody. How are you coping? How are you going to cope? She was actually genuinely worried. But I told her no, that she wasn't a good fit for my home. And I let her go to someone else. The person called back after a week saying that she could not cope, that the girl was something else. And my mother-in-law was like, Choma, how did you know it wouldn't work out? I was like, it was just my intuition, my God-given intuition. I believe God just wanted me to just not give myself the wahala of bringing her in and taking her. Because who wants a high turnover at the end of the day? None of us wants a high turnover of help. It's not really good for us. It's not good for the home, and it's not good for our children. Like I've said before, when you are hiring somebody for your home, they're going to interact with your children. So you want to be sure of so many things about them. Ask them about their faith, ask them about their hopes and their aspirations, and make sure they are the right fit for your home. Another thing I usually do is that I put them on probation. So I tell them, look, let's give it a try. Let's do 1 month. Let's see if you're happy here, and let me see if I'm going to be happy with you working in my home. Let's see if you gel with the system in this home. After a month, we'll assess it. We'll appraise stuff. And if you're happy, we continue working. That way, everybody knows that, look, you're not desperate and you're here to work. At the same time, they are happy. They are more eager to learn too, to see if it will. And you two also know that, look, you've given yourself 1 month to see if things will work out or not. But like I said, try not to hire in desperation. Another thing that I think is really important is that you need to know the people you're hiring down to their roots, which is why I spoke about getting a referral the first time. You know, when someone refers, they probably know where they live and all of that. You should try to know where they live, try to know their family. I remember when my mom used to hire help, most times she would drop them in the village at Christmas. Not because she couldn't just put them in public transport, but because she wanted to know them to the village. She wanted to know their families, their parents, everything about them. It also made them feel very good and loved as well. Their parents felt appreciated. And she would take time to thank their parents for allowing their children live with her and help her in her home. This also gave them a feeling of belonging, like I spoke about earlier. And also, when you know where the person is from, it will help you know, in case there's any issue, you'll be able to trace that person down to the village or down to their home. If you cannot go to their home, try at least and know where they are or know family members. It's very important. One thing, especially for if your children are older, try and give them days off. I can hear some people shouting, how will I cope if I give them a day off? I have a baby. Well, if it's not possible, no problem. But if you can, please give your help time off. The same way we look forward to public holidays and breaks is the same way our staff need time to relax and do their own things sometimes. So you could think maybe it's one day off a month or something like that. Try and see if it's possible in your home system. Like I said, if you have very young children or a young baby, it might not really work, but try and see if it will. I remember when I had a girl, then I had my son was quite young, and she wanted to be going home every weekend. I told her I wouldn't work, considering my child's age and considering my job and everything I was doing. But she could go home every other weekend. And the truth was that after a month, she found no need to go home that often anymore. She felt she was okay in my house, she was okay doing the job, and she was fine. So, but I always ensure that when it was time for Christmas or long vacations, I would allow her go home for the holiday. This gives you a chance to bond with your family and even get to know what you can even do on your own and not be overly reliant on the people who help in your home. So give them a time off. Also, you need to help yourself. When you are fortunate to get good domestic help, make sure you are not overly reliant on them. Some people cannot do without their help. Once they go for one day, it's like everything is all hell has broken loose. No. Try and make sure that on those days that they go off, try and see if you can do things yourself, and try and also make sure your children, you're training them to also be able to do things for themselves. That way, your children are also learning life skills are important to them. So even at those times when you don't have anybody, you're not breaking down, you're not the one doing everything, your children should be able to do those tasks. Even when your help are there, they need to be working side by side with them with some of the tasks. Do not put everything on the help. And lastly, apart from helping yourself, you need to help them. You might say, help them in what way? I'm already paying them salary. Yes, but there are other ways you can help them. You can be like their mother, their father, give them advice, see what their issues are, treat them like human beings. A lot of times people live in your home and you forget that they are human. They are human just like you. Get to know them, get to know what their issues are. I remember I had someone who lived with me, and though I was paying her, I found that she had a passion for education. And I made sure she got into university while still working in my home. and we had a fantastic time working together. In fact, while in the university, she met her husband, and now she's happily married with number 2 child on the way, and she's still very close to my family. The truth is that there's a lot we can do for ourselves, but having a domestic help or assistant does make life easier, especially for us working parents. So when you're lucky to get a good person, treat them well, treat them decently, and I pray God brings the right people into your home to assist you as you raise wholesome human beings. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you again soon. Thank you.